Well, this project should make Mr. Ben Winkle very happy. It's going to hopefully be something similar to Howard Hughes' Spruce Goose. And what really made me start this was two finds really. First, this wing that came from a glider kit that I've actually made. And it would appear, if I use 4 motors aside from the JJRC H67 Santa Quads and the firmware that I've done, I can probably put a battery on each of these circuits here from the quads to run 4 motors, use differential thrust to make the thing turn in the air, and actually build it. So the fuselage is going to be made out of this blue stuff here. It won't be pretty, I don't expect, but I don't even know whether the motors are going to work. So I know a lot of people are going to fast forward now in hopes of something flying at the end. I'd do that myself if I could. Got to get there though. So hopefully some people will stick around while I first of all take these off here, take these 2 circuits off, and then I'll put these motors across 4 and 4 and also work out how I'm going to do it. Right, that's both of the receivers flashed with the differential thrust code. I used ST-Link V2, and I'll leave the code, like I say, in a zip folder, a location to it, probably Dropbox or something, in the description box of the video. That's all of the motors out from the 2 former quadcopters. But next thing is I'm going to colour all of the propellers as black with a Sharpie. And there we go, in the blink of an eye they've all turned black. But the original Spruce Goose had black 4-bladed propellers, so although it might be like putting go faster stripes on a Prius, all helps at this point. So now I'll attach them to the wings, probably strengthen the wings as well. So my first idea wasn't strong enough with these rods, they're a bit too thin. What I'm going to do instead, from the dollar store, there's these cooking trays, and I'm going to use a couple of bars from that. There we go, a bit of protection for the wings, because you know it's like when a plane lands sideways on its maiden flight. Here's the body, tail and the float cut out, and that kind of looks better, and that gives a better idea now of what we're looking at. I've stuck a few pins in the foam on this right hand piece of foam, and I'm going to cut that out, and I'll do the same for the nose section. A few pins in there and cut that section out. Well, that turned out to be a disaster, so I gave up while I was behind. There's lots of little holes and things that are actually in the foam, and I kept sanding away and more would appear. So I might as well continue though, and if it crashes, hey, it doesn't matter, does it? So I'll make the tail section, and then I'll get the electronics all hooked up, and then chuck it at the sky and see what happens. There we go, the tail's now done, and I've also put the floats on, made those from polystyrene plate material, and simply stuck a pin in the top. You might be able to see it halfway along, and that goes through the piece of polystyrene plate and very, very secure. So that's those done. Next is to wire up the motors. So what we've got here are the 2 circuits, and the back 2, nearest to where the battery plugs in, they do the differential thrust. The front 2 in my code just respond to throttle normally. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to connect one of each, these 2 inner types, to one of each of the circuits, and that will allow for both on one side to change and both on the other side to change the same, while the 2 outer ones, they're just responding normally to throttle. So hopefully that works, and that's what I'll wire up next. And of course a sanity check would be good, wouldn't it, to make sure that both of these bind at the same time to the same transmitter. So here is one of the dinky Santa Quad transmitters. That's good, they've bound up. Okay. Oh, I see, we've got a lazy one on this left. Oh yeah, it's obviously spinning just on this, and out of revs. That one's lazy though. Oh, listen to that. That's worth making it anyway. So I'll put a bit of oil on that one. And the last thing I'm going to do, by the way, is to The wings are slightly wrong, so I'm going to correct that by cutting off small strips there at the back, and that should make it look a little bit more like the H4 Hercules. Wow, it needs no throttle. Change the CG. Let's see what full throttle looks like. Wow! And we'll bring her in to change that CG. Oh, end of battery. Still, there we go. My version in the air.